Okay, guys. So I am here today with Stephen Buller, who is the CEO of Legacy Kitchens. So, Stephen, welcome.
Hi there. Hi, Lisa.
I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me, and I'm pretty excited to tell the Legacy story.
All right.
So, I think we all know Legacy Kitchens must do kitchen renovations, but tell us more. What makes you guys different than every other renovator out there?
Legacy Kitchens, yeah, we do kitchens, obviously. We do them in new homes. We have a lot of builder customers, and then we also do renovations for homeowners. What makes us different? Lots of things.
Yeah.
I think about our 35-year history. We started in 1984, growing from maybe 5-6 employees sort of thing to what we are today, which is five companies with well over 100 employees. When a homeowner comes to us to think about renovating their kitchen, they're coming to us because we become a really trusted advisor in Calgary specifically, but also in Arizona, where we also have a business called Affinity Kitchens.
Oh, nice.
I guess that's about our history, our experience. We've developed a reputation of taking care of customers, making the experience go very smoothly, never walk away from problems, and I guess that's why customers trust us to do kitchens. I was just going through just some numbers, and in the last 10 years, we've installed over 28,000 kitchens here in the city of Calgary.
Holy smokes, that's a big number, yeah. Stephen.
It was quite shocking when I added it up, and so that's 10 years of our history. I don't have the numbers that go back all the way to our very beginning, but yeah, that's a lot of kitchens that people have trusted us to do, and
it is.
Our reputation continues. A lot of our work comes from referrals from happy customers.
Which is fantastic. So it sounds like a very customer-centric, very customer-focused company, which is great. And I know before we hopped on this interview, you were telling me that it was your father that started Legacy Kitchens.
Yeah, in 1984, my dad and a partner who's no longer involved with the business had an opportunity to take over the retail stores of one of the manufacturers that we buy from.
Okay.
And so 1984, of course, was the early 80s in Alberta and Canada was a difficult time. It was a very deep recession, and it was either close these companies down or these stores down or take them over from the corporate store. And so my dad just took a risk, and here we are today.
Here we are today, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so when we talk about the journey of when Legacy Kitchens was first started till today, I'm sure there were lots of lessons learned and things that might have been hard. Is there anything that sticks in your mind of a really big obstacle that you personally have had to help the company overcome?
2 years ago, we lost a 25-year employee in a vehicle fire. Basically, his vehicle caught on fire, and he was one of our key leaders here. And one of our values at Legacy is relationship and developing relationships internally with our employees and our employees with each other and with customers. And this fellow was our project manager for all of our renovations, and like I said, had been working for us for 25 years. And it was a real tragic death in one of our company vehicles, and was loved a lot. And so just taking the company through that morning, and I had the privilege to speak at his funeral and things like that.
Wow, that's a big change though that must have happened within your company as well. Mm-hmm. Somebody that had been there so long and they kind of knew how things were done, and it was probably also a challenge. Not only is it a tragedy, but also probably a challenge for the company to find somebody to fill those big shoes.
Yeah, it was both. Sort of the loss of that individual as a friend, and in many ways he was a mentor to me as well. And to many people here, and yeah, it was very impactful.
That's too bad. But I mean, it teaches us valuable lessons on contingency plans and how we can, not only sometimes you can't prevent having a tragedy happen, but what can you do to make sure that down the road either processes are documented so that they can be replicated and things like that.
For sure.
That makes sense. So if we were to talk about the culture at Legacy Kitchens, how would you describe, what's it like to work there? Is it fun? Is it casual? Is it, not so laid back? What would you say?
I think it's laid back. I think that our employees have fun. We execute on installing kitchens and servicing them very, very well. We have three core values that I talk about with employees. The first one is hospitality, which is all about treating others that we would like to be treated. So that's for our customers, that's for visitors into our business, that type of thing. So that's our one core value. The second one is relationship, as I had mentioned. That's all about creating deep, meaningful relationships with everybody that we come in contact with. And then the third one is understanding, which of course we get to do every day with our customers, right? So we're meeting with a customer for the first time or a potential customer, and we're asking the questions like, what do you do in your kitchen? How do you live in your family? What's important to you in the kitchen? Is it cooking? Is it entertaining? Is it storage? What is it? And so we get a chance to create just a unique design for that individual. And so that is really understanding. But then understanding comes down to with our employees, we don't have a really thick manual. We sort of say like each situation is unique. The circumstances are unique. So we're going to approach each situation that we come across. So that would be a lot of our culture there. We're a very caring company.
Nice.
So we're engaging our employees with some of the charity or the community outreach work that we do. In fact, a couple of years ago, Kim came up with this idea of taking groups of employees and saying, "Here's $100. You've got a month to change that $100 into whatever you can, and we're going to go donate the money to a microfinance organization called Opportunity International that gives out small loans to those in poverty in the third world." And so I think we had 13 groups, and we gave each group, and there's 5 or 6 employees, $100, and said, "Whatever you want to do, we're behind you." And they turned that $1,300 investment into $20,000.
Wow!
Over a 1-month period. I think some employees are skeptical about this, but by and large, everybody really rallied around this, and we're just amazed by the difference that they.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love hearing stories like that, and just to think it started with just $100 and where it went. That's so cool.
Yeah, so that's part of our culture. When people come here, they tend not to leave.
So high retention rate of employees.
Which is good and bad, of course. But this past Christmas, we had. So here at Legacy in Calgary, we have about 80 employees right now, and I think there was around 24, 25 employees that were celebrating a 5, a 10, a 15, or a 20-year anniversary with us.
That's so fantastic.
Yeah, I think that speaks to our culture.
Yeah, must be a good place to work.
Yeah.
That's really great. So just for our listeners, I just wanted to clarify, because you referenced Kim. Can you tell us who Kim is?
Kim's my wife. We started working here. Well, she's worked on and off for her whole married life, but she 2 years ago came in a bit more permanently and is looking after our marketing, looks after our employee events and that type of thing.
Fantastic. Great. Thanks for clearing that up. I'd also love to talk just a little bit more about the community outreach, because I know you touched on this one project, but it sounds like there is more that Legacy does to give back to the community. Is there anything else that you might want to highlight?
I think about why does Legacy exist, and you kind of asked me that at the very beginning. Our purpose statement is to facilitate transformation of people and spaces. spaces is easy to explain, right? Because that's what we do every day, creating these beautiful spaces with kitchens. With people, it's a little bit harder to explain. So facilitating transformation impacts our employees, it impacts our customers, and then also impacts the wider community around us. And Legacy's always had maybe a roaring mouse mentality, right? Where we want to have a far bigger impact on the community around us than maybe our footprint would suggest. Giving away some of our profits every year is a key part of that. For example, for the last 17 years, we have sponsored a concert called Music for a Winter's Evening. So basically, we pay for the concert, we pay for the artists, we pay for the space, and all the ticket sales and any donations are donated on to the organization we're supporting. And so over the years, we've supported the Mustard Seed, we've supported the Dream Center, which is an alcohol rehab center, and then this past year was the Oxford House and Next Step Ministry. So that's one example.
Awesome.
Every year we do a charity report internally with the family, and privileged, I guess, to be able to support thousands of different organizations that are engaged in transformation on a life and death basis, right? Whether it's getting somebody off the street and into a home, or getting somebody out of prostitution, or giving money that's used for loans. Colombia is the country that we're quite involved with.
Fantastic. That's just so great, though, that it sounds like the company is very purpose-driven, that you really are trying to make that impact to the community. And it's not just about being impactful for your clients and building them a great kitchen, but how that extends further into the community, which I love.
Yeah, I mean, we try to remind people that you're not just installing that cabinet door or doing that touch-up or talking to this customer about when they want their kitchen. You're having an impact that's far greater than just that act. You're giving a home to somebody, or we're putting a kitchen into somebody that wouldn't otherwise have that opportunity. So.
Totally. Makes a ton of sense. Yeah. So I'm going to shift gears here a little bit. I've been dying to ask about the virtual reality that you guys have been using at Legacy. So tell us all about it, because I'm super geeky and find this interesting.
Sure. Well, interestingly enough, I just got back from Florida last week, which was the National Kitchen and Bath Show, and Legacy Kitchens was a finalist for the Most Innovative Showroom Award.
Wow.
In the show. We didn't win, but we were a finalist, so that was certainly very exciting.
Yeah.
So as part of that innovative showroom, we've introduced virtual reality. So it's a station, and so what will happen is if, Lisa, if you came in and you wanted a new kitchen, and one of our designers had met with you and then came up with a design, what we do is we photo render that design and then get you to put on these virtual reality goggles. And what it lets you do is see your potential new kitchen almost in real life.
Wow.
So you can get an idea of color themes and tones. You can get an idea of sizing. You can see how big that hood is relative to the island. You can sort of see your window. In fact, one of the fellows, if you've got a nice scene out your window, will take that picture, and then you can import what you see every day into the virtual reality. And so you can look around the room. You can't walk around it yet. The technology isn't quite there yet, but I'm sure that
it'll come.
It will come. Yeah.
That's super exciting. This year for Christmas, I got virtual reality goggles, and my family is like, oh, here we go. Yeah. But I think it's really cool, and it's definitely where our world is going. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it helps people really visualize and get a much better, clearer picture of what this is going to end up to look like. So.
Absolutely. That's super exciting. Oh, technology.
Yeah.
Really great. So what would you say if we were talking about the renovation industry and the kitchen development industry in general, what would you say is the biggest myth?
I think one myth that's out there is that renovation projects take forever and they extend forever, and they're really, really stressful. We interview, or we hire a third-party company to interview all our customers after their experience with us, and one thing that comes out quite a bit is that, like at least from Legacy, the projects don't take forever. We have a schedule that we follow, and 9 times out of 10 we're going to hit that schedule. And they also talk about that it wasn't anywhere near as stressful as they thought it would be. And of course, that's an individual experience, what happens with stress, that type of thing. But
true.
They don't have to be, I guess. So.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that answered your question.
It absolutely does. And I think that that's a common thing that comes up in the construction industry in general, is it's going to take so long, or they didn't do it right, or so that's great to hear that you guys do have that third party that's interviewing clients at the end of projects. That's pretty cool in itself. Mm-hmm. And kind of, I'm sure you use that feedback to constantly make the process better.
Yeah. We use it to improve processes. We use it to try to rescue a situation that maybe is bad. We use it for our marketing, because we of course get lots of really great comments out of that.
Of course, that's fantastic. So if we were to shift the focus onto people who are also in this industry, why would you say that people typically fail in the renovation industry?
They don't come through with commitments. They overpromise and underdeliver. I mean, that's one thing that we really stress with our folks, is if you say you're going to do something, then you have to do it. And
totally.
That's just, there's no other way.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, that's probably lots of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think our businesses are very alike in that. The whole doing what you say you're going to do is a huge thing. But a lot of companies, surprisingly, don't follow through with that.
No, I mean, that's basic for any business, really. But
it's true. Very, very true. So what about like processes? Is there anything that you would say can't, and maybe it's not a process, but is there something that can't be easily replicated about Legacy Kitchens?
Well, our people.
Okay.
They can't be replicated. The years of experience and knowledge and expertise that our designers and our field supervisors and our carpenters bring to the job.
Awesome.
I guess that would be one thing. I guess it ultimately comes down to people, right? Because you can put in processes in place, and every company does, no matter what they do. But if you don't ultimately have the people that are engaged in what you do and engaged in what they're doing, then those processes aren't ever going to work. So that's probably, to me, what it comes down to.
That makes sense. No, that makes good sense.
We do have a lot of technology that we do use in our business, from an app that our field supervisors take out to job sites, and they use that app to answer questions that the installer might have. They use that app to do our inspections, and then our guys that are going out to fix things after use that app. So we do have a lot of technology, which helps too. But I don't think those are great tools to have, and they're really important, but it still comes down to people.
Totally. I think that, well, then that speaks back to that purpose and that customer-centric focus that's hard to replicate. That's great. That's really great. Yeah. So a couple of left field questions, because these are fun ones.
Okay.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I've always wanted to go to law school.
Okay.
Probably not to be a trial lawyer or anything like that, but behind the scenes, and yeah.
Okay, well, we're very unique and alike in that, because that was what I was on the path to do when I first started my career, was I wanted to go to law school.
And then you switched to marketing.
And then I switched to marketing. Oh, very cool. Do you have a favorite word?
Transformation comes to mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's a tough question to answer.
It is a tough question. It's a tough question. What would you say right now are you most excited about? for where Legacy Kitchens is going. And this could also be something happening in your personal life too. Is there anything that you're just really pumped about?
I am excited about a better economy here in Calgary, which seems to be either here or around the corner. That's one thing. I have 4 kids, so I'm excited to see what they're going to do in the world, and to see how they're great kids, and I'm excited just to see what their future holds for them.
That's fantastic. And is there, where Legacy Kitchens is going in 2018, is there anything that you can share with us in terms of exciting plans, maybe building out that virtual reality stuff a little bit more?
Well, we have a showroom app that we just recently introduced that we think that it helps customers that are first come into the showroom. They don't really know what they're looking at. They don't know necessarily what they're doing, but maybe they don't want to talk to a designer quite yet. And so that app, the information in the app really just brings home. So if I'm looking at, as a consumer, I'm looking at this one particular kitchen, and I'm saying, like, so what? I don't get it. And so the information in the app really says, okay, well, here's what we want you to feel when you look at this kitchen. Here's the design style, or this is the type of kitchen that it is. And then in this particular display, here are the 5 or 6 things that I want you to know about that aren't obvious just looking at the display. And so that interaction is a little video or a little photo, and that type of thing. It's not super technologically advanced, but we think it just helps that interaction with that customer. It makes it be a bit smoother, and it's not intimidating, and it's just, you can pull the information that you want.
Nice.
So what I see for Legacy is I'd actually like to be able to sell that to other showroom owners, whether they're in Calgary or in Canada or the US, and help their customers have that same experience or interaction. So that'd be something new for 2018.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Well, you'll have to keep us updated on the progress of that.
Yeah, for sure.
A neat addition. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. This was great to get to hear a little bit more about Legacy Kitchens.
Well, thanks, Lisa. I hope that went well from
perspective.
perspective. So.